What's going on, guys? Another ShopTruck update. Here's a scoop. Showed you on my last video. It's when I had first got started on tearing this thing down back in December of 2023. And I finished it up. I fired this thing up, I don't know, January, February of this year. And I recorded a bunch of stuff in between there of at least a little bit of everything that I did on the truck. Well, I don't have any more. So that kind of sucks. I really don't know what happened to it. I'm guessing it was on a card that was in a camera and the card got formatted before I got the footage off. That's the only thing I can really figure out at this point. So I know it's amateur hour around here, but here's what we're gonna do. I am just gonna show you everything that I did to the truck. It's all done, obviously, but I can still show you everything, tell you why I did it, what parts I used, and all that good stuff. So one of the main questions that I got whenever I was building this thing, I was posting pictures on my Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff because it was all a bunch of cool stuff, and I did it all myself. And if you'll remember in my last video, I talked about I am not a fabricator. Never claimed to be. I can weld a little bit sometimes. I cannot MIG weld. So that's kind of a fun fact that confuses a lot of people whenever I say that. I'll show you what I MIG welded, and you'll have to promise not to laugh at me too much. You can't really see it anyways because I've ground it and painted over it. But anyways, one of the things I got asked about the most was my front suspension that I used. So I am going to move some vehicles around. You can see the S10's up here on the lift, ShopTruck's underneath. So I'll get ShopTruck on the lift and we'll get this thing up and I'll show you what's going on with the front end. So stick around. If you haven't already, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment down below, and stick around. We'll show you what's going on with the front end of ShopTruck right now. Got everything moved around here. Got the ShopTruck up on the lift. Got this 17-inch bow guard off the front. God, those are cool wheels. Probably one of my favorites. I do miss the gold, don't get me wrong, but I was ready for polished, and man, that's a sexy wheel. So anyways, Oh, y'all were griping at me last time because I didn't have enough light in here. Hang on just a second. Let me grab a flashlight. Something about y'all couldn't see on your Android phones or something like that. I don't know. Let me get a flashlight over here so y'all can see. That's got it lit up pretty good. So, okay, here's what we got. So I mentioned in the last video that I actually contacted Wicked Fabrication to get a set of their upper and lower control arms. I got them in. They were great pieces. They were much lighter than the DJM lower control arm with stock upper that I had. However, it was still going to use a Silverado spindle, or I was going to have to make some stuff work so that I could use my S10 spindle. I really wanted to use the S10 spindle mainly for this here, because like I showed you last time, there was like 10-pound difference in this and a factory Silverado hub. So I contacted MG Fab out of California, and they make these tubular control arms, and honestly they're a touch lighter than the Wicked Fab arms were, but my main thing was they made them so that I could directly bolt on my S10 spindle. This is just a stock S10 spindle, like from like a, I don't know, 91 or 92 S10 is what I got them off of. So much lighter than the DJM control arm with the factory upper. I can't remember what all I saved here total, but doing both sides, doing the TBM brake and hub kit, S10 spindle, I did still use the Wicked Fab long travel upper shock mount. So basically you cut your factory shock mount off. Hopefully you're better with a cutoff wheel than I am. I actually used a plasma cutter, but I'm not any good with it either. But I do have a very cool Lincoln plasma cutter. They call it the Tomahawk. So it's, if nothing else, it's got a really cool name. Cut all that off, welded this in, and now I've got this long QA1 mod shock in here with all the travels. So anyways, if I remember correctly, I've got everything written down, and I'll show you a total weight once we get through everything. But pretty sure I lost like 75 pounds off the front by going to this A-arm setup, upper and lower, S10 spindle, TBM brakes with a TBM hub for an S10. It was like, it was 75 pounds at least. It may have been more. That's a lot off the front of the truck. So that was one of the biggest gains that I was happy with here, was getting it off the front. So I don't necessarily recommend this if you've got a full weight truck still, as far as going to the real lightweight stuff like this, because here's the deal. TBM makes a bolt-on brake kit that you've seen on the truck before for the front that already loses like 50 pounds getting rid of the stock stuff. So it stops great. It loses weight. I don't drive this truck a ton anymore. It's mostly a race truck. I do drive it, don't get me wrong. I've put like 500 or 600 miles on it since I've got it running again. I don't drive it like I used to. So this is more race right here. So don't go out and do this if you've got a street truck that you're going to try to drive across country, or you're daily driving it or whatever. Or you might, I don't know. I probably wouldn't if I wasn't at that point with this truck. So just a, what do they call that there? A forewarning or whatever. Anyways, so MG Fab upper and lowers, stock S10 spindle. I got the bump steer kit from MG Fab as well. I've got QA1 mod shocks. I will put a part number in the comment on what these are. I got them to fit my measurements, so I could tell you the part, and it may not work for you. You may not weld your stuff in the same place as me. You may not have the same upper and lowers as me. This is what worked for me. So I also, whenever I did all this, I swapped to an FT600 over a FT550 like I told y'all, because I wanted more inputs and outputs. I got low dollar motorsports shock sensors on all four corners. Man, after race carring so much like we have, I really like data. I don't necessarily know what to do with it all the time, but I like being able to look at it and see how I can help this thing go faster. So low dollar motorsports, shock sensors, all four corners. If you don't know what that's for, it basically lets you know how high this thing is going up whenever it leaves, or if you hit a bump, it'll show you where at in the track it did it, because as this thing moves up and down, it's going to give you a reading in your ECU. I also put a line lock on the truck for the first time. I got the TBM Linelock, used a low dollar motorsports pressure sensor. Line locks are cool, guys. I've never had one, but man, it makes burnouts way cooler. I've had a manual brake set up for a long time. I actually got this from Burkhart Chassis. I ordered one of these in like 2010 or 11 to put on my old black truck, if y'all remember it. I never used it, sold it, needed some money. Anyways, whenever it was time to do this on ShopTruck, I called them back, got the same kit. It's a bolt-on deal. They send you the master. They got a plate that bolts up to the firewall whenever you take your old brake booster off of there, and then they've got a rod with the correct length and it's the correct size to go over the little nubbin on the brake pedal, so that you can connect that and press, and you got brakes and all that stuff. So that's what we got going on here. Let's see what else. Oh, you want to know how much travel it's got, right? 7.5 inches. 7.5 inches. That's not necessarily what I did this for. I didn't necessarily do it for the travel. I don't necessarily think I need 7.5 inches of travel. And honestly, I only gained about 2 inches over what I had. So I had around 5.5 inches before with okay, so it was a 4-inch DJM lower, 2-inch McGoy lowering spindle, and a stock upper control arm with the shock and the stock location. I had 5 inches of travel there, and my truck works pretty good. So like I said, I don't necessarily think I need this travel, but like my pappy always said, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So give you a good idea of what we're working with there as far as travel in the front end. So I mentioned that I got new wheels also. What do you guys think? Are you a polish fan or are you a gold fan? Like I said, I'm not gonna lie, I miss the gold, but I also really like polished / chrome wheels. I will not have black wheels. The S10 has black wheels because that's what it had on there whenever I got it. I would put polished on there if it was mine. There's one car and one car only that looks good with black wheels, and that's Murder Nova. Like, that's how I feel about it. I won't have black wheels. I may have blue wheels. I may have red wheels. I may have anything. I won't have black wheels. It's not for me. Done it. Don't like it. I'd rather have to clean these every single day than have black wheels. But anyways, a lot of y'all are asking, what happened to your exhaust back here? Why'd you change it from here? Well, put a 5-inch exhaust on this thing, and I put it out the bumper, and I didn't necessarily like it at first, but then I heard it and it sounds amazing. I didn't want it that big. That wasn't what I was really going for whenever I did it. I really wanted it just like the Fire Dunk. That turned out perfect. That's exactly what I wanted on this truck. I missed it though, so this is what I got. Like I said, I'm not a fabricator. I can weld a little bit. I can make things stick together. That's kind of the extent of it. Why? Why a 5-inch exhaust? Well, because of this bad boy right here. Forced Induction Solutions, No Time 98. This thing's huge. Let me get the truck down, pop the hood, and show you. It's just a monster. Hang on just a second. So yeah, Forced Induction Solutions, Gangster. I'm sorry, this isn't the Gangster. This is the No Time 98. The Donk has the Gangster 98 on it. Not to say that this one won't make more than enough power that I need, but man, it was just a much bigger frame than the old Precision. So I had to redo my hot side. I had to get a tight bend radius for right here coming off the header to get around the much larger turbine housing, and then another tight bend 90 to snake back around and then try to connect to my old stuff. So those of you who thought my stainless welding on Fire Donk wasn't very good, that's much, much worse. But it works. It hasn't cracked out yet. I've beat on the truck pretty good. I guess that just kind of goes to show it doesn't have to be pretty to work. But anyways, that's terrible. I know it. Go ahead and tell me how bad it sucks. I'm ready for it. I'm letting y'all see it. It is what it is. But anyways, I can't wait to dyno this thing. I feel like this turbo will make more power than this engine will allow me to. It's a stock block. It is sleeved. It's got good Darton sleeves in it, but man, I'm a little hesitant to make a whole bunch of power with it. That was one of the reasons I lightened the truck up. I'm comfortable with around 1,300, maybe 1,400 to the tires on this deal. And that's really about all I'll push it. I think that'll get me everywhere I want to go this go around until I can afford to build me a really nice either LS motor or big block. So that was the whole reason for, like, I didn't do the front suspension for anything other than dropping weight. Like, yeah, the extra travel's potentially going to be nice. Like I said, I don't think I necessarily need it. My truck worked pretty good before. But the weight savings off the front is huge. Like, you know, it's a truck. There's nothing in the bed. I mean, there is now because it's kind of dirty, but it's, so when I started here, you guys seen the weight percentages on the scale, it was like 58 on the nose. Well, now it's like 55, I think. And man, that's a good percentage of weight off of the front and move some to the back. So anyways, back to why I have a 5-inch exhaust. I do want this turbo to be able to make the power that it's able to make without a bunch of back pressure issues. So they told me get rid of my 4-inch exhaust. I said no big deal. I put the 5-inch exhaust on it, started off with a stainless bend right off the turbo because, I don't know, I guess some people say that's what you need to do. They say the aluminum will bend and warp and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, tight 5-inch stainless 90 to Race Parts Solutions aluminum 5-inch out my bumper. I think it sounds pretty cool. Some of y'all may not like it. It is what it is. It's here to stay. I also swapped to the Turbo Smart E-gates. I really like them. We got them on the Fire Donk. We got them on the 55. And now we got them on Aiden's car. They're on blue that absolutely hauls ass. You know, Mark Mickey's turbo car, et cetera, et cetera. I really like them. Some people don't. You know, personal preference. I think they work great. And I wanted them on my truck. So that was another reason I went to the FT600. But made my dump tubes out of aluminum. Some of you won't like the 90-degree placement on the header. I know it's not optimal. I don't know. I don't really have issues with it. Or I haven't yet. And I've seen a bunch of other people do it that way that didn't really have issues. So I do have a provision here. This is where my old wastegates were. So I've got this here. Should I ever run into issues with it right here, 90 degree? And then I'll just put one over there as well somehow. But I don't think I'm going to have any problems with them right here. A little refresher on what the engine is, just in case you're new. Obviously, a bunch of you are new to my channel. But if you're new to learning what ShopTruck is, that is a Texas Speed Brawler Edition 427. They call it the Executioner. This particular one is an aluminum 6.2 block with Darton sleeves, and then it's got a Texas Speed rotating assembly that's a 4125 bore with a 4-inch stroke and a 6.125 connecting rod, all forged. It's all good stuff. It's got as of now, it doesn't have them. It's got some LS7 lifters. I do have some ISKI lifters that I'm going to throw in here in the very, very near future, just because I've always been an advocate for the LS7 lifters, and it's really not even an LS7 lifter. I've always used the cheap Delphi stuff. I've taken this thing to 8,000 RPM many times, never had an issue, and may never. But I'm going to change them out just because recently I've been seeing some issues from people. I've seen issues from people in the past, and I chalked it up to probably user error because they were dummies or whatever you want to call them. But I've been starting to see some people that I feel like actually know their stuff when it comes to valve train, and I'm not trying to be one of them. So I'm going to put a good ISKI roller lifter in there and not worry about that. So it does have PRC 260 LS3 style heads on it. Right now I have these are Deechworks 2200cc injectors. I'm probably going to swap to the FT injector. I got some 500 pounders for this truck. Same thing we got in the Donk. Same thing we got in the 55. Because I have stupid flies. I have considered putting this thing on methanol. I don't know that I am ready for that commitment just yet, but I've got the fuel system to do it. I've got an Aeromotive 10 gallon per minute fuel pump back there that will move all the fuel that I need to make the power that I would want to make. These injectors won't do it though. They're going to be maxed out probably. I mean, on methanol, they'll max out at 1,000, 1,100. E85, we max them out somewhere around 1,400, I think. Anyways, got a Holley low ram, lower manifold on it with a sheer fab 1,800 horsepower air-to-water intercooler. I love these things. They package up nicely. They're very well built, and you know the guy at Sheer Fab he's just a cool dude. I stopped by the shop there one time after after Maple Grove one year. I drove over to the shop Sunday morning before I went home. Met Ron for the first time. Great dude. He showed me around the shop, gave me a little tour. I actually bought another intake from him for a buddy of mine, and man, I just like them. So really cool piece. It's all one. Like some of them you can sandwich in between your top, you know, for your low ram or high ram or whatever it is you got. This is actually all one piece. This is the lid, intercooler, everything. So, and it's low profile, so it sits under my hood. I don't have to have a stupid cow hood or anything. Let's see what else here. Same Stainless Works headers that I've always had. Obviously Stainless Works 2.5 inch stainless tubing to make the turbo kit that Jeffrey Lutz built me initially. Jeff Jr. Always race part solution stuff on all of our things. The dual seal clamps, some of my favorite. I like them. Some people don't. I personally do. I also use a Race Part Solutions blow valve. Made my upper radiator hose out of, I think, can't remember if it's inch or inch and a quarter aluminum tubing. Just so I can, you know, it's kind of tight in here. Some of you guys have never seen this. I don't know that I did a video ever whenever we first built it. No, we did for sure because I downloaded it at Fuel Tech. So, anyways, built the pipe. Obviously, you know, you see over there, there's no room for a radiator hose because of the way that I did my radiator. So we built something. This is a Summit triple pass radiator. This radiator's pretty cheap and it works amazing. So I put it on this truck first, and then the first time I ever took it out, we took it to Florida when we went down there for MPK a few years back, down to South Palm Beach. Is it South Palm Beach? South Palm Beach Raceway or whatever it was. I drove it around there. It was 100 degrees out there, and this thing never got over 180 degrees. So it comes with a big D-rail electric fan with a shroud, and man, it just works great. It works so good on this, we put one on the Fire Donk, and then we drove it around in Vegas. Drove the Fire Donk around in Vegas in 119 degree weather, and that thing never got over like 160 or something. So great radiator, great fan. I'll put the part number for it down in the description as well. You can check it out, see if it might work for you. I did have to do a little trimming. It wasn't a direct fit. So you see this up here, this tab right here where my finger is. There's one on both sides. I'm pretty sure I trimmed the back side off, and then, you know, I made little tabs to bolt it in here in the factory spots, but works great. Check it out, see if it'll work for you. It may not, or you can make it work like I did. Walk over here and grab one of my Viper chairs. This is not a paid announcement by any means. This chair cost me like 500 bucks. You can see how easily it rolls. They do have brakes for them now. Anyways, super comfortable shop chairs, worth the investment. I've got a couple. I keep one over here at my little fab table, and then this one I just kind of roll around the shop. So I'll get over here and talk to y'all for a minute. Okay, so I know that's kind of a lot to take in about what's going on here. I may have went a little fast through some of it. I may have drug out on some of it. I apologize. I wish I had the actual footage of me putting this stuff together, but I don't. So I apologize. I hope I've answered all the questions that some of you may have about what's going on with the front end of the truck. There's a lot of cool stuff up there. Like I said, I didn't do it to get all the crazy front end travel. I did it mainly for the weight loss. So on the front end, just off the front end of the truck already, without doing the fiberglass hood or the fiberglass bumper, I'm at or near or possibly even over. I'll have to check my notes and I'll include it in an upcoming video. I'm pretty close to 100 pounds off the front end of the truck already, just from doing the upper and lower control arms, the S10 spindle, and the TBM hub and brakes and all that stuff. Super lightweight stuff. Showed you the weight difference in the previous video from all the stock stuff. So, you know, that's 100 pounds there. That's not including the 50 pounds that I had already lost by swapping to the TBM brakes on the factory Silverado stuff. So, you know, you're talking 100, golly, anywhere from 130 to 150 pounds off the front of this truck just since I've been trying to lose weight on the truck. So anyways, it's a lot of weight off the front of the truck. You can get even more if you want to get creative. Like I would like to do a tubular cross member that goes underneath the motor that connects to A-arms and everything. I've seen a couple guys do it. That's one of those things that I wish I possessed fabrication ability. I just don't, and I can't afford to pay someone to do it just yet. So if I ever can, I will get it to Don Dial and have him do it, because he does a pretty cool K-member that he's done on both of the Novas. He's done on the 55. He's done on Aiden's car. So there's still a lot of weight that could be lost off the front of this truck. I used to see people talk about how like they would have these trucks on the internet, and I always thought they were full of crap. Well, my buddy Tyler, DTR Fab, he's the guy who makes the cross member for the swaps, like the 480, the Turbo 400, or 6-speed, or whatever. He makes a transmission cross member that bolts into these trucks that's a quarter of the weight of the stock one. It's all tubular stuff that he's designed and sold thousands of. Very cool deal. Check him out, DTR Fab. Anyways, he has a truck like this as well, 2000 Chevy truck, and his truck is like, I don't want to talk out of turn here. It's under 3,300 pounds with him in it, ready to go down a track. And as he's gotten older, he's gotten fatter. So and it's still that light. But anyways, these trucks can get light, and I can see how they do it now, because there's a lot of stuff on here that you don't necessarily need if you're trying to build a race car. I'll show you in some upcoming videos a lot of other stuff that I've done to get weight off of this truck. I'll give y'all a heads up. I've dropped over 600 pounds off the truck already from all the stuff I've done, and in upcoming videos I'll show you the rest of the stuff that it took to get there. For right now, this is where I'm at with the truck. We're fixing to hit the road for some racing, so it'll be a little bit. I'm trying to get as many videos kind of banked up here as I can before we leave, and I can't do anything here in the shop. So wanted to get you guys shown this stuff on the front of the truck. Like I said, I can't wait to dyno with the new turbo. I know it spools easier. That's for dang sure. The old one spooled up pretty good. The old Precision spooled up pretty dang good. This one, man, it's like a light switch. It's pretty impressive for that big old turbo. Probably can attribute some of that to the Circle D converter as well, and the dumps on the transmission, because it's a Billy badass Rossler, basically a pro mod transmission that I've got in this thing now. Thanks, Sean, Murder Nova. Let's see what else here. So I think I'm going to call that good for this video. I I hope, like I said, I hope I answered everything that you guys may have had questions on as far as the front of the truck goes. So from like here forward, let's see, here, yeah, here, from here forward, I hope I've answered everything that you may have had questions on. If I didn't, definitely drop a comment, and if I see it, I'll get to it. I'm trying to do a better job of keeping track of all the comments, so I will do my best to answer it if you have a question. Like I said, I'm going to put the parts that I've used in the description down below. You can check them out if you want, or at least give you an idea of what you're looking for if you want to do something similar to your truck. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I'll show you some more whenever we get back from racing. I did quite a bit more to the back than what I showed you in my last video. I still have some to do, and I'll show you what that's going to be. Show you pretty much what the underside of the truck looks like now, because I've done quite a bit under there, and then definitely I've done a lot inside that I'm not necessarily proud of, but the truck is much lighter now, so it's worth it. Anyways, subscribe to the channel, keep sharing the channel, tell your buddies about it. I do some cool stuff. I'm going to try to do some cool stuff with this. You see me pull the S10 out. I've got some stuff on the way for it so that I can start fixing it up, making it run better. A bunch of you guys gave me some suggestions on it. I've taken some of that and ran with it and got some of those parts on the way that I need to install on it. I'll show you guys that later. And then, you know, traveling the country racing. We've got several races left for the Speed Promotions Outlaw 32 deal. Actually leaving in the morning for the National Trails race that I hope that we go back to back and win. You know, we won last week in Virginia. I'd really like to win a back-to-back at some point. So, and then the following weekend, we got the big $100,000 to win race with the OG 28-10-5 small tire no prep race, $100,000 to win at Beach Bend Raceway. We won there last year with the MPK car, and man, I'd sure like to win that small tire race too. So if you're anywhere in the area, come check us out. National Trails this week, Beach Bend next week, and then we'll see where we go from there. So until the next one, I appreciate it, guys. Again, drop a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you on my next video.